Welcome to this tutorial on using tables in cdpACCESS. This was recorded in the second half of the Group A 2018 code change cycle. Due to popular demand, we have modified the way the table editor works. We are now doing manual diffing instead of automatic diffing. So I'm just going to walk you through this process and make sure that you know how to change an existing table, you know how to work with a new table that you just added from the code books, and you know how to make sure that your diffing and your legislative markup is where you want it to be. Finally, we'll take a quick look at the Notes to Staff tab and give you some information on how to find help if you need it. So let's go ahead and get started with a table that I've imported from the mechanical code. When I click on this table, it's going to bring me to a preview screen, and I'm going to want to go ahead and click Edit to go in and make some edits. The section number and title, you're just going to want to change as they are. You don't have to worry about putting any formatting in here. Just type the new number or modify the number and type the new title or modify the title as you'd like, and that diffing should take over from there. As for the content of the table, when we come down here, you're going to see that in many cases these columns are collapsed. If you put your mouse in between them, click and drag, you're going to be able to open that up. And that's going to help you review the content in that table and make sure that you can see what you're working with. Now, if you do need something that's a little bit wider than the screen, you are going to have the ability to get this scroll bar, and that's going to allow you to work back and forth on the table and edit all of the columns. In some cases, you're going to see it's already going to be in a scroll bar. Some of our tables are very wide. And just make sure that you've used that scroll bar. If you think there's any missing content, make sure you've reviewed it both top to bottom and left to right, just in case there's something that you can't see on your normal screen. When making a change to this content, a couple different things to think about. First of all, like I said, we are now manually legislatively marking up these tables. We found that with the auto diffing, we were getting a lot of what we called the right but not correct problem, where a system was diffing this table so that it was absolutely correct if you were a machine reading this in a machine's way, but it was very difficult to read in many cases if you're a human reading it the way we do. So we're going to go ahead and manually work with this. So to make a change on one of these items, I'm going to go ahead and click in there. Let's say we don't need seafood and beverage service. We're going to do something with dining halls in this row. I can go ahead and click in here. I can make some changes. And when I select some stuff that I need to delete, rather than just deleting it, I'm actually going to use the strike through tool that's up here to strike through that text. And that will indicate that we need to delete it, just as you would expect. If instead of dining halls, we now call them eating halls, I could add that word in here, and I could strike through dining and underline eating to indicate that a change had been made. Now you'll see that I'm working up here in this narrow editing window as opposed to down here. You can work directly in the table, but we have found that folks have occasionally seen some issues with the system hanging or not saving quite right if you work down here. So we do recommend that you work up here as much as possible. If you've got a couple of cells that need to be merged, or you need to add new columns or anything like that, your right-click menu is going to be what you expect if you work in Excel, if you work in Google Drive, or if you even work in tables in Word. You're going to be able to insert rows, insert columns, remove the row or column you're in, and you're even going to be able to merge those cells. So if I want to select two cells here, and I want to make this one, I can just right-click on that, choose Merge Cells, and you'll see now that that appears as a single merged cell. As you scroll through, you also have the ability to add super and subscripts, particularly when you need to add footnotes. You can see here that I've added an H that's underlined, indicating that I've got an additional footnote that I need to work. Your super and subscript buttons are right here as you would expect. You've also got this special characters button. If you click on this, it's going to give you a menu of special characters that you can insert. Degree symbols, squared and cube, a few other mathematical symbols, and lots of letters that aren't necessarily on your standard QWERTY keyboard. We recommend that you use this tool to insert all those kinds of characters. And as you are working on those, if there's any characters that aren't in that character menu that you would like to be in that character menu, just email cdpACCESS@iccsafe.org and we'll drop those characters in there for ease of use. You do see that you have the capacity to paste here, especially with the paste from Word feature. With tables especially, we definitely do not recommend that you paste from other programs. We recommend that you work with them one at a time, one cell at a time, one table at a time inside the system, just to make sure that you're not going to get any behind the scenes markup that you might not expect that might still make your table hang or cause other problems. We will do our best to fix tables that have problems in them caused by copy and paste, but we can't guarantee it. And so if your proposal becomes unusable or unsubmittable because of the copy and paste that you've done, do know that you may have to start over with a new proposal. All right, with all this in mind, we're going to go ahead and save the changes. And let's take a look at the new table that I've created over here. This is brand new, never existed before in the code book. I'll go ahead and hit edit on that to open up the editor. And you'll see it looks exactly the same. I've got a bunch of text in here. I can open this up so I can see it better. I've got a merged cell here, and I could merge other cells in this new table. Since it's brand new, it's only by standard a 5 by 5 table. So when you right click, you can always insert more rows or remove rows so that you can tighten that up. And then down here at the bottom with existing footnotes, it's the same, but here we go with brand new footnotes. If I do need a new footnote, all I have to do is type it in here. I can select that A and make it a superscript so that it's clear it's a footnote. And then, of course, this will automatically be all underlined because it's brand new text. Only this table piece right here, where you're selecting a cell and then editing up in this editor, that is the only piece that you need to manually diff or manually legislative markup. So I'll go ahead and save this one as well. Don't forget your instruction line that you need to set as needed on these tables. And all this information in here will be as you expect, both here and in the preview when you're looking at the table there. If there is some small or even complex piece of editorial or formatting that just isn't working on the table for you and you need some help, you can always go to this documentation tab and you can go to the notes to staff tab. Now, I can't do this because I am a staff member and we can't modify these notes to staff. But just like on the reason statement where there's an edit button, you'll have that edit button on notes to staff. And you can put your information on the notes to staff tab. So if you want to say, I meant to strike out the whole last line of this table, but for some reason that isn't working for me, you can drop that note here. And if it's just something editorial like that, you're welcome to submit your code change proposal once you've got all the other changes done and you've got your note to staff in there. Anything that's more complex that has to do with the content of the issue, you'll probably want to reach out to ICC staff first. But if it's simple, small, editorial, or formatting, you can always just leave that note. And you don't have to wait to submit your code change proposal. You can send it right in, and we'll take a look at those notes to staff first thing as we process your code changes. We hope that's helpful, particularly as we reach the deadline in early January. If you've got one small piece that you just can't quite get formatted right and you'd like to submit your proposal, you can go ahead and do that and get it in ahead of the deadline, and we'll be happy to work with you after that. So thank you for taking a look at this table tutorial. I appreciate your time and your patience as we work through this. I'll be available to answer any questions on cdpACCESS@iccsafe.org. We've got multiple staff members taking a look at that. So if you do want help, the easiest way to get in touch with us is to email that, and we'll email you back or call you as quick as we can. That's the best way to get the most people looking at your email as quickly as possible. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Columbus in the spring and Richmond in the fall.